It's time for some quirky questions. Who needs deviantart.com to be happy?
Hold on a minute.
Now for the next question. Whose greatest weakness is memorizing stuff? Me.
Yes, everyone but Siobhan, apparently.
And finally, your last question. Who would rather be an anime girl? Me.
Of course.
Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who can't sleep without Snorlax? Me. Now for the next question. Who has a giant collection of sheet music? Me. And finally, your last question. Who can't live without Slim Jims?
Not a sponsor.
Me. Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who likes me? 0 in the morning. Me. Now for the next question. about cat?
Me.
And finally, your last question. Who has a giant collection of Orbeez?
Me.
Thanks for playing. See you next time.
It's time for some quirky questions. Who would rather be a dragon? Me. Now for the next question. Whose greatest weakness is Dr. Pepper?
Me.
And finally, your last question. Who can't stop thinking about Isabel?
Me.
Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who can't live without Animal Crossing? Me. Now for the next question.
Pretty sure I already asked this one, but why the heck not?
Who would rather be a fruit person? Me. And finally, your last question. Who has tried three-course gum? Me. Thanks for playing.
I
See you
find it
next time.
funny how Nick seems ashamed of it.
It's time for some quirky questions. Who can't stand avocados? Me. Now for the next question. Who hides fursuits in their apartment?
Me.
And finally, your last question.
Brianna, are you able to show me them by any chance?
Who needs Luna to be happy? Me.
Simp! No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who is devoted to weird science?
Me.
Now for the next question. Who loves my ex?
Me.
Really?
And finally, your last question.
Okay, I think I'll go more general for this one.
Who would rather be another species?
Me.
Thanks for playing. See you next time.
Wimiga, you might want to take notes for Zara.
It's time for some quirky question. Who loves my ex?
Me.
Now for the next question. Who often gets mistaken for a furry?
Me.
Yes! I thought Shido well,
And
kinda.
finally,
I
your
mean,
last question.
Shido's kinda weird. So, yeah.
Who needs MLP to be happy?
Me.
Yes!
Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who would rather be a Pokemon?
Me.
Well, I'm glad Brianna didn't raise her hand because
Now for
that
the next question.
wouldn't have made much sense.
Who can't live without apple pie?
Me.
And finally, your last question. Who wants a life full of censored?
Me.
Ashley, you're the only one to raise your
Thanks
hand
for
this
playing.
entire
See you next
time.
time.
It's time for some quirky questions. Who has no interest in me?
Me.
Hello, darkness, mild friend.
Now for the next question. Who can't sleep without a Pokemon? Me.
Aren't you already one, though?
And finally,
This is a suggestion.
whose mother resembles clothespins?
Me.
What?
Thanks for playing. See you next time.
That's weird. Oh shoot, I dropped my stylus.
It's time for some quirky questions.
Pretty sure I've already asked this one before, but why not?
Who would rather be a hellhound?
Okay, well, I'm glad Sui didn't
Now
raise
for
her
the
hand
next
because that
question.
wouldn't have made much sense.
Whose mother resembles an Eevee? Ah. And finally. Who loves my ex?
Me.
So
Thanks for playing.
close,
See
yet
you
so
next time.
far away.
It's It's time for some quirky questions. Who hides dead possums in their apartment? Me.
Zetus! Oh boy.
Now for the next question. Who loves my ex? Me. And finally, your last question. Who can't sleep without something fluffy? Me. Thanks for playing. See you next time. It's time for some quirky questions. Who hides fish skeletons in their apartment? Oh,
Okay, thank goodness.
now for the next question. Who wants a life full of fat furries? Me. And finally, your last question. Whose mother resembles him? Me.
I don't
Thanks
think
for
anyone's
playing.
gonna
See
get
you
that
next time.
joke besides Eric Goebel.
It's time for some quirky questions. Who likes YouTube in the morning? Me.
Wait, me, guy, why didn't you
Now
raise
for
your
the next
hand?
question.
Why can't I spell this?
Who hides birdie box in their apartment?
Me.
And finally, your last question. Who has a giant collection of Sky fan art?
Me.
Yep, I knew it,
Thanks for playing. See you
but
next
everyone
time.
else I didn't know.
It's time for some quirky questions. Who needs fat people to be happy?
Me.
Now for the next question. Who would rather be a pile of slime?
Me.
You're a pile of slime!
And finally, your last question. Who wants a life full of fruit people?
Me.
Thanks for playing. See you next time.
You two raise your hands every single round.
It's time for some quirky questions.
I thought you would raise your hand.
Now for the next question.
Probably already asked this, but oh well.
Who would rather be a rabbit?
Aren't you already one, though?
And finally, your last question. Who hides knives in their apartment?
So, gosh. Oh boy. I don't
Thanks
think
for
that's a
playing.
good
See you next
sign.
time.